Margaret. Welcome to Knit Pickers in beautiful downtown Mayfield. My studio is a small shop located about 5 kilometers south of Cavendish Beach and a couple of kilometers west of North Rustico. We're on the north shore of Prince Edward Island. Now today I'm going to talk about the German short row method. This short row method can be used anywhere that you use a typical wrap and turn short row. I personally prefer it. I find it easier to do the German short row. I also find that it's a little tidier and a little less bulky. So, shall we get started? So with the German short row, I always start my short row on the purl side. So in this case, I'm going to knit to my last 2 stitches on this swatch. And I am on the knit side right now. So it's a little bit confusing in that you're working your knit German short row on your purl side, but here we go. So I've got 2 stitches remaining. If the pattern says this is where I start my German short row, I turn my work. I have my yarn in the front in purl position. I slip the first stitch over to my left-hand needle, and then I tug on my yarn and I wrap it up and over so that I'm pulling that stitch and I'm creating what is known as the double stitch. It's just the 2 legs of the original stitch. And then I'm going to purl down to 2 stitches. So now here, I want to do my wrap and turn, or I should say I want to do my German short row. So I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to bring my yarn around to the front. I'm going to slip that stitch, and then I'm going to pull it up and over. So once again, you can see I'm creating those 2 legs. This is the kind of thing you don't normally want to do in knitting. That's how a lot of beginner knitters often increase the number of stitches that they've got. But in this case, this is exactly what we want to do. So now I'm just going to knit down the row to where my short row was. So there is my double stitch, my first double stitch. So now I want to do a double stitch on the stitch beside it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit that stitch, because this is the stitch that I want to turn. I'm going to turn my work. I have my yarn in front. I now slip that last stitch and pull it up. And you can see I'm creating those 2 legs again and around, and I'm going to knit, or I should say I'm going to purl because I'm on the purl side, right up to my German short row stitch on the other side. So there we are. So there's my German short row right there. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to bring my yarn forward. I'm going to slip that stitch that I want to make into the short row stitch, pull my yarn. In this case, I'm just pulling it to the back. That creates those 2 legs, that double stitch. And I'm going to knit these 2 stitches. Now, let's just say I've finished doing all my short rows. How do I knit these stitches together? Well, here's one German short row stitch. There's another German short row stitch. So nothing fancy. You just take that double stitch and knit the two together. There's my other double stitch. I just go into that and knit those two stitches together. And I'm going to knit to the end of my row. So now I'm going to turn to my purl side. And I'm going to purl across until I get to my German short row double stitches. So there are my two double stitches. So I purl that last stitch. You want to make sure you're going to get both of those legs. So get in there, make sure you've got both legs, purl them together. Again, you can see both of those legs right here. You just get in there, make sure you've got them both, purl them together, and purl to the end of the row. And you can see how very nice and tidy that looks on the right side. But you can also see the shaping that's been created. So this technique is really lovely. It's really wonderful if you're doing the heel or the toe of a sock, or if you just want to add a couple of extra rows, really, for your shaping at the back of a neck, all sorts of different applications. And as I said, if you want to substitute a German short row for a wrap and turn, if the pattern says knit to the last 3 stitches and then do your wrap and turn, you actually knit that 3rd stitch, turn your work, and do your German short row. The German short row method is featured in my super simple sock pattern. It's also great if you're shaping the neck of a sweater, all sorts of different applications. Now you can use it to replace any wrap and turn method in any knitting pattern that you have. But just remember, if you are going to be following a pattern and the pattern says knit 9 stitches and then wrap and turn, you would actually knit 10 stitches and then do your German short row. That's really the only difference. You just increase 1 stitch. So I hope you'll give it a try, and in the meantime, happy knitting.